When I first came to you, it was a fairly dire emergency situation. My mother-in-law had called the police, and I had to rush out of work quite quickly. So from that point of view, I was really grateful that you were, first of all, very understanding of the situation, and said just get on and do it, and we'll talk about things later. And obviously, as things developed, we probably sat down and had a little bit longer discussion about, what might be required and what time off I might have needed, and what support you could give as a manager towards that.
I remember you had gone on a family holiday.
That's
and at
right.
that stage you came back, and I think the good thing about YHN is whilst we have regular one-to-one support sessions, and we do have a health and well-being part to that discussion, I think we always have an open door policy, so you felt able to come in at that stage and talk about the problems and how they seem to be escalating.
Yeah,
so that was slightly before the emergency situation. So I was aware of that. I know the open door policy with line managers works really well, so you're able to come in and talk about anything. And I do think that one-to-one support session for staff who don't feel able to talk about things more informally, it does prompt that discussion and encourages that discussion about people's health and well-being, and is there any extra support that they need.
Yeah, I think that is really important. I think from that point, it's always been part of the discussion in a one-to-one, and it's what I use with my staff as well, about that discussion about how things are going and how you're in yourself, and that sort of to try and sort of tease out things that might be worrying staff is a really big part of being a good manager and a good employer, that you know your staff, and you know that if there are any problems, you can support them.
Yeah.
From your experience with my approach to you when I had problems with caring for my mother-in-law, what advice would you give to other managers within YHN?
I think our managers have really good relationships with the staff, and I think I would just encourage managers to always have that conversation, even if it's just a quick, how are you, how are things, how are the family, because actually I got to know a lot about you and your family before things actually did escalate to an emergency situation. I think in terms of advice to other managers, try and be as flexible as possible, because actually the impact on the employee who is caring is huge. And I know it was your mother-in-law, but you were caring for your mother-in-law, but you were also supporting your wife, which had an impact on your own health and well-being. So try and take away some of the worries and the stress around that, because actually you managed to maintain coming to work, which is exactly what we wanted, and deliver the care and responsibilities. So actually it was a really positive outcome, and it could have been very different if you hadn't been supported.
The important thing from your point of view is that you need to look after yourself, because if you don't look after yourself, you can't care for the person that perhaps has Alzheimer's or needs your support. So from my experience, my manager was extremely supportive, and that enabled me not to worry unnecessarily about what was happening at work, and I could put all my concentration into the caring role, looking after both my mother-in-law and supporting my wife through the process. So I would say speak to your manager, have that heart-to-heart discussion, and I'm sure you will find that you will get the support that you need.